There we go. We are recording. Perfect. Okay. Well, good morning. Welcome to the IC Realtime webinar series. Again, I am Patrick Carter. I'm the training manager here at IC Realtime. I handle all of our public webinars like this one, as well as our private webinars. If you're interested in hosting a private webinar for your team, please reach out to me. I am Patrick at icrealtime.com, and I would be more than happy to accommodate any kind of training webinars you'd like to do, be it salesy or technical or product related. Like I say, today we're going to talk about 360 cameras. This is part of a webinar series. We will be doing this webinar again this afternoon at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. If you have any colleagues you think would benefit from some of our 360 technology and learning more about it, please have them join us at 4 o'clock Eastern Time. Now on Friday, we will be talking about IC My Cloud. So if you want to join us, mark your calendars now. We'll be talking a lot about a really cool, powerful cloud solution where you can back up your cameras directly to our cloud server and view them remotely. It's great for offsite storage as well as redundancy. So we'll talk about that on Friday. But let's get right to it. Again, I want to thank you guys very much for taking the time to join us this morning for a webinar regarding 360 and 720 technology. I'm going to move this out of the way, and we're actually going to go right to the camera. We're going to start right where we need to, which is a camera itself. This happens to be a 720-degree camera that's mounted out in front of our facility here in Florida. What you're seeing is just really a big fisheye view. If I zoom in, you're going to be able to see a little better detail and a little closer as we look down the driveway in any direction. Now, 360 technology would allow me to take this image and also look straight down. So again, there's no blind spots in this image. If I want to see something that's happening below, I can look straight down. I can look at my front door. I can see what's happening. That's 360 technology. Then I can look back out to center and go around and see what's going on in my parking lot. This is the beauty of 360 technology. I can actually look at the base that the camera is mounted to. I can see everything going on in this image in a 360 view. Now, IC 720 is revolutionary. This is something that's very unique. It's something that you're not going to really see anywhere else in the market. And that's this 360 view on top as well. So if I look straight up, I can see what a beautiful day it is out here in South Florida. I can look to the left. I can look to the right. I'm looking all the way up, all the way down. Hey, there's my logo. I'm looking all the way around this image. Again, a PTZ, if it's looking over here, whatever's happening behind it's going to get missed. With a 360 or 720 camera, there are no blind spots. Every single bit of this image is being captured all the way above, all the way below. You are not missing a beat in this particular image. So what are the advantages? When do we use this? Well, IC 720 is perfect for large areas where you've got a big gathering of people. Here's my mailman backing in to bring me some mail. If I'm looking at an area like, say, a convention center, or maybe I'm looking at a sports arena, I want to cover a very large area. Maybe I want to cover the front of my building, like this application here. I can see exactly what's going on anywhere around this image. If I just want to worry about what's happening below the camera, a 360 is just fine. If I want to look at something above and below, I can mount this camera sideways. I can mount this camera from above. There's a lot of different mounting options for this particular application. Think about a warehouse facility where instead of putting 15 cameras to cover a warehouse, I can put one camera in the center and cover that entire space. And we're going to show a good example of that here in a minute. So this is the beauty of 360 and 720. 360 being looking at a plane and everything below it. IC 720 being below it and above it as well. Now I can zoom in, I can zoom out, I can take this into a regular panoramic view. Now I'm looking at a kind of a fisheye view of the world. I can move this around and live within it. If I want, I can zoom in. All I'm doing is using the scroll on my mouse to get a better image. Anywhere you've got a large gathering of people, this is perfect. The range on it, you see, is pretty decent. I'm able to see what's happening in the parking lot out to a couple hundred feet in any direction. That's the beauty of 360 technology. It really does have a nice wide throughput. It has a nice wide range. I see one of my salesmen out here having a smoke. That's Russ Cohen walking through. You see how real time this is. This is at 30 frames per second. There's my receptionist helping to bring some gear out to the mail person, and away we go. So this is pretty cool. This is a neat application where, again, you have a 360 view or a double 360 view to a 720 view, and you really can see everything that's going on in this image. Let's go ahead and minimize this. We'll talk a little bit about the hardware itself. On the 360 side, we've gotten a little more limited. We've limited it down to one indoor and one outdoor. The L12 would be an indoor version. It's a non-IR camera, but it's perfect for areas like conference rooms or lobbies into facilities. It's perfect for areas where you want to cover a wide view in a lower megapixel. This is only a 4 megapixel camera. It can be stepped down to a 2 megapixel if you need one for like a small conference room or a small office area. But again, it gives you that full immersive view, that ability to see everything going on around it. It does have audio built into it, so if you want to do audio recording, it's perfect for that as well. Let's step back and look at the big guy. The T12, you'll notice there's a new part number for this. It's a D720IR-T12. So this is our former L12. It just has a new part number. This unit is a 12 megapixel camera, 360, with audio and IR. It's got a pretty decent IR on it to cover a pretty wide area. I would use this camera in an application like that in front of my building. I would use this in a parking lot application where I want to cover a large parking lot area. This, again, would replace a PTZ because it has absolutely no blind spots. The range on this guy at 12 megapixels out to about 125, 130 feet. It can be dummied down to a 6 megapixel if you need to. So again, if you're using it in a car dealership or maybe a medical office or somewhere where you really want to cover a smaller space, this is perfect for that. The T12, no longer the L12, is a perfect 360 camera that, again, comes in 12 megapixel and can be stepped down to a 6. On the 720 line, you basically have an option of an indoor or an outdoor flavor. The Beam W1K is the indoor-outdoor version, and the W200 is the indoor-only version. So let's scroll down where we can see it a little clearer. So this basically is a beam unit. It has one camera on the bottom, one camera on the top. It can be mounted on the ceiling. It can be mounted on a wall. It can be mounted sideways. It can be mounted however you want to do it. It makes it very simple for applications. This was the camera we were just looking at. Again, it automatically stitches the two cameras together to give you a perfectly seamless view. If you've ever seen us at any of the big trade shows, ISC or CES or CEDIA, you've seen this camera in action. It's amazing. This camera actually is a single camera with a Qualcomm Snapdragon chipset that stitches that image together and gives you, out of the camera, a completely de-warped view. So this is a non-IR camera presently. We are in the process of working on an IR version. And like I mentioned before, the W200 would be the indoor version. The 1K, which is a very similar looking camera, you'll notice the difference in the actual camera itself. The other camera has a dark lens. This one is completely white on the inside. And again, car dealership, schools, hospitals, anywhere you've got a large area, sporting facilities, this is a perfect camera because it can cover a very large area and, again, give you a completely immersive view. Excuse me, are there any questions about the cameras themselves before I move into recorders? Awesome. Well, let's talk about recording these cameras. These are surveillance devices. They are designed around our surveillance applications, so we do have recorders that are built for them. What I use primarily with our 360 and 720 cameras are the 4K recorders, and I'll show you the reason why here in a minute. Primarily, it's designed in a good, better, best type application. The 7500 series would be the good. It basically has PoE built into it. It's in an 8, 16, or 32 channel flavor. They have room for 8 hard drives. It does support the 12 megapixel cameras with no problem at all. It's got plenty of room for storage. Know that the 12 megapixel cameras traditionally use about 5 terabytes per week of storage. So you definitely going to want to make sure you have some hard drive space. They do take up a lot of room. But these recorders have a 4K output. Again, we know from our previous classes that ultra high definition or 4K definition is essentially around an 8 megapixel camera. So of course our 12 megapixel cameras fall right into place with that. If you have a 4K monitor connected to this monitor, it's going to look like daytime. It's going to look amazing. because you're running a 12 megapixel camera across it. It is going to look great. Even a 6 megapixel camera on a ultra high resolution looks really, really good. So here's your entry level. Again, has PoE built into it, has plenty of room for hard drives. The 7500 series is where you're going to start for your residential, your light commercial. This is kind of your go-to unit for most of your applications. Let's talk about the better, which is the 6000 series. This comes in two flavors, a 32 and a 64 channel. These, again, support our 12 megapixel cameras. They also have 8 hard drive bays in them. They do not have PoE built into them. They're designed for applications where you have your own PoE switches around the business and you don't need the PoE built into the recorder. Now, we talked about the Ultra HD output. We talked about the 4K output. Another big step with the 4K recorders is that they actually have the dewarping software built into the firmware. These are ultra high definition resolution, but they're also ultra high performance units. The processing speed in these guys is substantial. It has the ability to process that image coming in from the camera, show it in the dewarp view, has the ability to break it down into multi-PTZ views, which again, we're going to show you in just a second. This is a really ultimate machine when we're talking about 360 and 720 cameras. For a long time, we were primarily using our 8128 series with those because it really was the only recorder that had the horsepower. Now with the 4K unit, you have a recorder that has the resources available to take care of those cameras. Our best solution is our enterprise level, the 8000 series. Very similar to our 8128, however, this is a 4K version. The 8128K has 4 4K HDMI outputs. So now you can use 4 monitors. Again, if you're doing a large commercial application or even a really big residential, you need 4 4K monitor outputs. This has it. You can do matrix with it. You can show particular cameras on it, on the particular 4K monitors that are connected. It has 4 gigabit network cards in it. It has 16 hot swappable hard drives, the bezel with the monitor on the face of it. It's exactly like our 8128 with the exception of the 4K output as well as the ability to dewarp those cameras. Any questions about the recorders that you're going to use to record those 360 cameras that we talked about? Cool. Well, let's go ahead and jump into Smart ICRSS, which is a really cool program. We've done classes specifically on Smart ICRSS. We talked about it last week in our connectivity series. Smart ICRSS is a great software. It's available for the whopping price of free. You can download it for Mac or PC right from our website. You can put up to 50 recorders in it simultaneously. It is awesome. Now, what you would look at in your native view is a fisheye view. So here's an L12 in our warehouse in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm looking at a 12 megapixel image of our warehouse. Let's see if I can make it a little bigger. I may not be able to get any bigger than that. Nope. Okay, so I'm looking at a 12 megapixel image. This is our warehouse in a fisheye view. And that's fine. This is going to capture everything that's going on inside that warehouse. But having the ability in Smart ICRSS to take that image and kind of dissect it and work with it is what makes Smart ICRSS a very cool choice. So first thing I would do is select how the camera is being installed. It's going to get a little bigger for me. And then I can go down and change my field of view. I want to look at it in a regular fisheye view. I want to look at it in a fisheye view and a split view. I have different options. I have different solutions with this. Now, this exact same functionality is available on the 4K recorders. So I can look at my image, I can split it out into an alternate PTZ view. You'll notice as I move my mouse around, the images will change color. I have a grid of what cameras are where. I can click on that image and live within this. I can navigate around. I want a PTZ view. I want to see what's going on. I can zoom in and zoom out of this image. I can move this view. I can click on this top right corner. I can move this view around. You see as I'm moving the bar or moving the color grid, I'm moving the image. So this is kind of like a PTZ in the aspect that I can zoom in and see more. I can read the boxes. I can see what's going on here on a recorded or in a live view. But most importantly is that functionality of being able to control. Let's go ahead and look at another view. This is probably my most favorite view, is this little guy here. This has the PTZ or the fisheye view in the center, and then you have 9 boxes, or sorry, 8 boxes around it that show in different color codes. So here's my light blue, here's my green, here's my orange. Let's go ahead and click on that orange box. I can move around the image. I can take the image into here. I can move it to the other side. I can zoom in and zoom out. I can really get in nice and close on this. I can read labels and see what's happening in this area. If I want to see what's happening in this water fountain here, I can zoom right in and get a very good view. Again, this is a 12 megapixel image, and as I move it around, I can live within that view. So this is the functionality that you're going to gain from using a 4K recorder. It's the functionality you're going to gain from using the Smart ICRSS with our 360 or 720 cameras. You'll see there are different views that we can use here. I can use just a regular panoramic view, where again, I can navigate within the image in the bottom. That's very cool, huh? When I navigate around, I zoom in, I can see we got plenty of product here. I can look over on the other side, see what we got going on this shelf. This again is our warehouse in Phoenix. I can look in at this water fountain again. So think about this from a security aspect. If I'm just looking at a big area, this is a really sizable warehouse. And I'm sitting in the middle of it, basically living in a fisheye view that I can actually dissect and take into different images. So again, this is available on our Smart ICRSS software, which is free. It's also available on our 4K recorders. If I want to log into it through the web interface, or if I want to log into it at the head unit, I have this exact same functionality of being able to take a 360 lens, break it apart, break it into different quadrants, and this is in live view as well as in playback view. So again, there's a lot of functionality in 360 cameras. You definitely have seen some great applications today. Again, anywhere that you want to replace multiple cameras with just a single camera, the 360 is the way to go. If you've got an area where you want to cover everything and don't miss anything in that region, the IC720 or the new 720 version is available in either weatherproof or non-weatherproof. And of course, the 360 cameras are available as the new D720IR T12, which is the outdoor version, or the indoor version, which is the L4. So the 360 L4 again has no IR, but it does have audio, and the outdoor version has IR and audio. Are there any questions about anything we covered today? Awesome. Well, let me go ahead and wrap it up. Again, I am Patrick. I am the training manager here at IC Realtime. You can always reach me at patrick@icrealtime.com if you want to schedule a webinar for yourself, or if you have any questions that may pop up regarding anything that we've talked about in the webinar series. As you see, we are recording these, and they'll be up on the website, so you'll be able to check them out at a later date. We're working on that right now. We are working also on recording our in-house training. Tomorrow is our in-house training here in the Florida office. You happen to find yourself in sunny South Florida and you want to get some good education, stop on in. It's from 9:30 until 12:30 tomorrow. And again, it's at our facility here in Pompano Beach, Florida. Again, this webinar will happen this afternoon at 4 o'clock. If you have any colleagues you think would benefit from learning a little bit more about some of our 360 gear, please join us at 4 o'clock Eastern time this afternoon. And again, on Friday, we'll be talking about IC My Cloud. We're ending the month strong with a really good class. We will also be posting the calendar for next month, so you may want to check that out. By the end of the week, we should have next month's calendar up as well. So again, thank you so much for your time. I really do appreciate you guys stopping in and learning a little bit more about our 360 and 720 technology. And have a great day.
Thanks, Patrick.
Thank you.